Mahalagang panawagan, no, para sa pagbabakuna, para sa ating mga lolo at lola, mga lahat ng mga nakakatanda, mga senior citizens gaya ko, no? Mahalaga ang magpabakuna. Yan lamang ang ating panlaban sa kahit ano pang virus, ano, mga variants diyan. Mahalaga mayroon tayong proteksyon, no, sa virus na ito. So, huwag ninyong sayangin ang pagkakataon kung may bakuna, magpabakuna na kayo.
I wear a mask because
I wear a mask. I wear a mask. I wear a mask. I wear a mask because I wear a mask to protect my special child. I wear a mask because I want to protect myself, my co-workers, and my clients. Nagsusulot ako ng mask para suportahan ang sarong COVID-free na komunidad.
I wear a mask because my child still can't.
magsuot kog mask aron dili ko matakdan o dili pug ko makatakod sa uban.
Nagsuot ako ng mask para iwas sa virus.
I wear a mask because I want to be part of the solution and I care.
I wear a mask because I want to protect myself, my family, and others. And loving is caring.
Nagsulot ako ning mask kay gusto ko na mahunong ang pandemic.
I wear a mask because palangga ko kamo. Matay hao chow yung may kamyang hay kong yi. I wear a mask because it's an act of justice.
Nagsuot ko og mask tungod kay mask, mag-alay sa kapwa. Mask, mag-atiman sa katawhan.
Nagsuksok ako sang mask para malikawan ang paglabta sa COVID virus.
I wear a mask because I want to live longer and serve more people.
I wear a mask because I care and it works.
I wear a mask because bilang proteksyon sa mga mahal ko sa buhay.
Nagausar ako sang mask hindi lang para sa kaugalingon ko kundi para sa iban.
I wear a mask because prevention is better than cure.
I wear a mask because it's a mask.
Isang paalala mula sa Caritas, Philippines.
I wear a mask because
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask. I wear a mask.
I wear a mask because
I wear a mask to protect my special child.
I wear a mask because I want to protect myself, my co-workers, and my clients. Nagsusulot ako ng mask para suportahan ang sarong COVID-free na komunidad.
I wear a mask because my child still can't.
magsuot kog mask aron dili ko matakdan o dili pug ko makatakod sa uban.
Nagsuot ako ng mask para iwas sa virus.
I wear a mask because I want to be part of the solution and I care.
I wear a mask because I want to protect myself, my family, and others. And loving is caring.
Nagsulot ako ning mask kay gusto ko na mahunong ang pandemic.
I wear a mask because palangga ko kamo.
Matay hao chow yung may kamyang hay kong yi.
I wear a mask because
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask. I wear a mask.
I wear a mask because
I wear a mask to protect my special child.
I wear a mask because I want to protect myself, my co-workers, and my clients. Nagsusulot ako ng mask para suportahan ang sarong COVID-free na komunidad.
I wear a mask because my child still can't.
magsuot kog mask aron dili ko matakdan o dili pug ko makatakod sa uban.
Nagsuot ako ng mask para iwas sa virus.
I wear a mask because I want to be part of the solution and I care.
I wear a mask because I want to protect myself, my family, and others. And loving is caring.
Nagsulod ako ng mask kay gusto ko na mahunong ang pandemic.
I wear a mask because palangga ko kamo.
I wear a mask because it's an act of justice. Nagsuot ko og mask tungod kay mask, mag-alay sa kapwa. Mask, mag-atiman sa katawhan.
Nagsuksok ako sang mask para malikawan ang paglabta sang COVID virus.
I wear a mask because I want to live longer and serve more people.
I wear a mask because I care and it works.
I wear a mask because bilang proteksyon sa mga mahal ko sa buhay.
Nagausara ko sang mask hindi lang para sa kaugalingon ko kundi para sa iban.
I wear a mask because prevention is better than cure.
I wear a mask because it's a mask.
Isang paalala mula sa Caritas, Philippines.
I wear a mask because
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask because
I wear a mask to protect my special child.
I wear a mask because I want to protect myself, my coworkers, and my clients. Nagsusulot ako ng mask para suportahan ang sarong COVID-free na komunidad.
I wear a mask because my child still can.
magsuot kog mask aron dili ko matakdan ug dili pug ko makatakod sa uban.
Nagsuot ako ng mask para iwas sa virus.
I wear a mask because I want to be part of the solution and I care.
I wear a mask because I want to protect myself, my family, and others. And loving is caring.
Nagsulod ako ng mask kay gusto ko na mahunong ang pandemic.
I wear a mask because palangga ko kamo.
I wear a mask because it's an act of justice. Nagsuot ko og mask tungod kay mask, mag-alay sa kapwa. Mask, mag-atiman sa katawhan.
Nagsuksok ako sang mask para malikawan ang paglabta sang COVID virus.
I wear a mask because I want to live longer and serve more people.
I wear a mask because I care and it works.
I wear a mask because bilang proteksyon sa mga mahal ko sa buhay.
Nagausara ko sang mask hindi lang para sa kaugalingon ko kundi para sa iban.
I wear a mask because prevention is better than cure.
I wear a mask because it's a mask.
Isang paalala mula sa Caritas, Philippines.
Sa pamamagitan ng ating Alay Kapwa program, sa panahon ng kalamidad gaya ng bagyo, lindol, at iba pang paghihirap sa buhay ng ating mga kapatid, ang Alay Kapwa program ng ating simbahan ay laging handang tumulong at tumugon. Kamakailan lamang po, tayo ay naglaan ng 5 million pesos para sa kindness stations or community pantries ng mga social action centers ng 50 dioceses sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Ito po ay galing sa inyong mga donations na pakunti-kunting ibinigay sa pamamagitan ng ating panawagan dito sa ABS-CBN. Kapwa ko, pananagutan ko.
Because we know how much you wanted to get the right information, we give it to you right here. NASA Caritas Philippines News Updates. Accessible through your YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. NASA Caritas Philippines News Updates. Caritas News on the go.
Good morning, I'm Jean Ray Henderson, and this is Caritas News on the Go. The Department of Health and several other government agencies and local government units are still facing the public's closest scrutiny after the Commission on Audit has published reports of seeming anomalies, especially in the procurement transactions of the government agencies. For the first time here at Caritas News on the Go, we are joined by our finance manager at Caritas Philippines, Ms. Zenny Manaligo, to help us realize the importance of following the procurement procedures at any levels. Good morning, Ate Zenny, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Jing, and good morning po sa lahat ng taga-subaybay po ng ating programa sa Caritas Philippines.
Sa mga nagtatanong, kasi for example, si President Duterte, ang sinasabi niya, di ba, kaya daw niya sinabihan, inutusan na si Secretary Duque na dumiretso na ng pagbili at wag nang gumamit or dumaan sa procurement process ay dahil matatagalan, mahihirapan yung procurement. Sa iyo ba, bilang finance person and sa experience natin po, mahirap ba talagang sundan ang procurement procedures?
Well, sa ating organization, Jing, we have this particular policies and procedures to follow. And of course, ang unang-una nating tignan diyan ay yung objectives ng ating policy na which is very important for us to understand kung ano yung nakakaganda sa ating mga ginagawa.
Okay. And papaano ba yung, halimbawa, for Caritas Philippines, ano yung procurement process natin? Do we have set of policies directing how do we do procurement? Pagkatapos, ito ba ay sa level lamang ng Caritas Philippines or do we follow the same policies up to the diocesan level?
Yeah. Well, siguro para at least malaman din po natin lahat na alam natin lahat na ang procurement ay ito ay yung act of obtaining goods or services. And if we open that particular ay may expose tayo sa risk, the individual and the institution. That's why we have these sets of policies and procedures. Kaya itong procurement process na to ay to ensure that we achieve the efficiency and effectiveness of management of costs, yung suppliers, and even the supply. And of course, yung proseso din natin ay it aims of achieving value of money. Kaya dito rin, hindi natin automatic na kung sinasabi nating value for money, hindi natin sinasabing automatic na yung pinakamura, yun na yung pinaka-best. Hindi po siya ganon. So, yung sinasabi natin doon ay from the planning of the procurement up to the whole life of the services or supplies. So ito po, meron po tayo sa Caritas Philippines na fina-follow from the national level to the DSAC level. So yun po, yung ating naka-install na ating mga proseso para hindi po tayo ma-expose sa risk or sa fraud, para ganun po.
Mm-hmm. Isa sa mga sinasabi ni Secretary Harry Roque is that yung kumbaga parang criticism niya, especially for example doon sa Aquino administration, is that nung bumili sila ng mga personal protective equipment para sa ating mga frontliners ay napakamamahal. So does this mean ba na yung ating procurement process should always look for the least or the cheapest price, or papaano natin binabalance yung quality over quantity?
Well, Jing, sa procurement kasi, para at least magkaroon tayo ng balance na selection, we need to see what are the available supplies. So, we need to see also the available suppliers para at least makumparahan natin kung ano yung best na makukuha natin, na hindi necessary na kung sino yung mas mura or sino yung nakakalamang or this is known. So we need to provide also fair environment sa ating mga suppliers. So ganoon po, it also depends on the timing kasi we are working on a timely basis or we are time bound when we do procurement. So it also matters.
Bang maging flexible yung mga procurement policies in terms of yung sinasabi mo kanina, for example, timing. Halimbawa ngayon, we are making ready para doon sa Typhoon Kiko, na mangyayari. So, if ever that we would be responding, for example, meron bang mga flexibilities na in-offer din yung atin pong procurement policy so that the procurement itself will not hamper the humanitarian response that we are doing or we will be doing? Mukhang nagkaroon tayo ng technical connection problem with Ate Zenny. Ayan, okay. Ate Zenny, you're back? Sige, babalikan natin po si Ate Zenny para sa continuing conversation natin with regards to the procurement process. And for the meantime, would like to have you first in one of our examples of the humanitarian responses that we have had in the past, and actually it's ongoing at the moment. Caritas Philippines has been providing humanitarian assistance to the survivors of multiple typhoons in the country, especially in Catanduanes with Caritas Virac. Just recently, with the Papal Nuncio Archbishop Charles Brown, Caritas Philippines and the Diocese of Virac turned over permanent shelters in San Andres Town. We talked with Mr. Donald and Jenny Lumabi, one of the shelter family members or family beneficiaries and partners in San Andres, and here's what they have to say about their new house.
Talagang pinasok po kami ng tubig at sa putik. Nagkipag-lipat po kami sa mga taas na bahay. Kasi tubig na po talaga ito
talaga po, naglilipat kami.
Tubig talaga po.
Nag-aalala.
Nangingat lang po kami sa tubig. Nangyari po talaga na umano yung tubig at sa dagat. Ulan sa dagat, sa lubong na po. Hindi na po kinayaan. Kaya tumas po kami dito. Lahat po kami dyan. Wala po nakaligtas sa putik at sa tubig. Kaya salamat po. Kaya may pasigurado po. May panlaban po kami. May panlaban.
Nung nalaman namin islap daw po yung ibibigay na kahit
sa panaran na mo kami talaga. Sa panaran po kasi iyon, nakuban. Isa rin po kami sa nauna. Ayan po, salamat po. Ito, malaking magkakaiba po. Kasi ito, islap na pula na po ang galawan po yan eh. Yung dati, yero lang po, kaya pantok lang pinabagyo. Kaya ito po, malaking magkakaiba.
Kaya nga po, lumilipas kami nga po. Hindi pa man lumalakas yung bagyo, umaalis na po talaga kami sa bahay, nakikilipat na po.
Pag sabing malakas yung bagyo, talagang ginahandaan po ng Catanduanes eh. Talagang malakas pang bagyo dito.
Kampante na po.
Kampante na po.
Kahit hindi na siguro kami
Maglipat.
Kasi mayroon na kami
Paliguradan po yan.
Ayun. Sa parang nagtatruma din sila po. Kasi unang-una po, yun nga, nangangamba rin kami talaga sa bahay ng kasi sabi natin mula pa talaga mula. Tapos, sabi ko, kaya lang parang magdadagdag tayo ng magagastos. Saan tayo kukuha, mama? Hihingi tayo ng tulong sa
mag-anak. Kaya natulungan po. Kaya medyo gumanda-ganda po. Nakahapon po talaga.
Sige lang mama, para hindi na tayo lipat ng lupa.
Kaya alam mo pang babagyo, magigilipan na kapilan ng mga. Kaya ngayon, talaga, kampante na po.
Nakakasiguro na.
Nakakasiguro po. Laban po talaga yan.
Laban na sa bagyo yan.
Overall, the Catholic Church is constructing 305 permanent shelters and has repaired 544 shelters. We have also provided livelihoods and food security to 980 families, in addition to the various capacity building activities to more than 700 individuals. The humanitarian response of Caritas Philippines in Virac amounts to almost or more than 34.3 million pesos. We are joined again by Ate Zenny in the line. So, Ate Zenny, good morning once again. I was asking earlier kung do we offer flexibility from our procurement or with our procurement policy so that our humanitarian responses or the transactions that we have, the daily operation of the office would not be hampered?
Sorry, nawala ako bigla. But doon sa tanong mo, of course, there are certain policies that can be flexible, and as we go with meron tayong sinasabing negotiable and non-negotiable. So, of course, there is a certain flexibility when it comes to emergency compared to the regular ng procurement. But of course, we don't skip the procedures. Meron tayong mechanism that we will fast track everything so that we will not be parang hindi tayo ma-loss along the way.
Mm-hmm. Ano yung mga non-negotiable terms nung ating mga policies that in one way or another cannot be compromised?
Well, of course, as part of finance, we should work on what is available budget. That's why non-negotiable, because if we go beyond that, it's either we face the consequences. That's one part of non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm. Opo. Another question is, sinasabi nila kasi one of the actually criticisms that we have always would hear from the public, especially for those critical of the Catholic Church, is that we don't really have a commission on audit. Parang walang sa mga offices, di ba, sa CBCP, for example, we don't really have a commission on audit. We have a commission on the finance, pero on audit, wala talaga. So how do we ensure that there is check and balance in everything that we do, especially on the financial transactions?
Well, it's true, Jing, that commissions on audit is not hindi sila sa atin unless na meron tayong programa or projects that directly engage with the government na tayo ng commission on audit. But in our structure, we have this to ensure check and balance. We need to see our internal structure. Now, we need to see who are the persons in the finance, who are those signatories. Yung importante also yung division of work na hindi nag-duplicate, sino yung checker, sino yung prepare or ano. And then of course, there is in place policy and procedures to ensure that there is a finance control. So napaka-importante po yun na we maintain check and balance. And sa atin, we have the internal auditor, and of course, ultimately, our external auditor, which we engage from the outside of our institution.
Papaano at saang level kinakailangan na meron tayong mag-engage tayo doon sa internal at saka sa external auditors? Lahat ba ng programa ng Caritas Philippines ay dapat na ino-audit? And to whom we parang provide the report for? Parang binibigay lang ba natin ito doon sa ating mga funders, or do we make all the audit, for example, the audit reports, are they also available na once nahingi ng public?
Yes, Jing. As a duly registered institution on BIR and SEC, we are obliged, or we are required to submit audited financial report that is according to our either annual, calendar year or fiscal year. And for Caritas Philippines, we are in fiscal year. And of course, internally, we have this monthly and even quarterly reporting. And we also report to our funder per our MOU. And please note also that all projects that being implemented by Caritas Philippines and also our partner dioceses are being audited at the end of the project, or even at the interim period. Let's say if that is a 5 years project, we have those interim project audit. And not only financial audit, we also conduct project evaluation, which includes more broader aspect of the project.
Okay, so kumbaga we would like to assure the public, especially our donors, hindi lang yung mga institutional donors natin, kundi mas lalo na yung ating mga individual donors, that everything is actually well accounted for doon sa proseso na meron tayo at Caritas Philippines. Last question, Ate Zenny, how important are the procurement processes in ensuring that we have honest transactions, not only in the church but also more like in the government and even in the daily transactions that we do?
Yes, Jing, that is very important for all of us. We should take it as a moral obligation, not just compliance. Kundi ito na yung way of life and part of our transactions in our daily endeavor in our respective offices. Ayan. So,
maraming salamat.
It will depend on how we take it.
Maraming salamat po, Ate Zenny, sa oras na ibinigay ninyo sa amin, and also for sharing as your thoughts on this very important issue at the moment for our country. Thank you again very much.
Thank you.
Caritas News on the Go will be right back after these reminders.
Because we know how much you wanted to get the right information, we give it to you right here. NASA Caritas Philippines News Updates. Accessible through your YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. NASA Caritas Philippines News Updates. Caritas News on the go.
Nakamute ka, Jing.
Sorry. Good morning once again. The 2022 national elections is coming to us very fast. Senator Bongo and President Rodrigo Duterte already announced their candidacies for the presidential and vice presidential race alongside Senators Panfilo Lacson and Tito Soto. Slowly, we are again lured to talk about the personalities and forget the issues which are far more important. One of the most significant issues we need to be discussing among ourselves amid the election fever is the climate crisis we are presently in and how our political landscape is playing an essential big role, but it is up to this point not really helping. We'd like to be able to discuss this with you and another special guest, Mr. Rodney Galicia. Kuya Rodney, our Executive Director for Living Laudato Si Philippines. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Caritas Philippines, and good morning sa ating mga kababayan na nakikinig sa araw na ito, sa umagang ito.
Kuya Rodney, what role do you see that the 2022 election will play in the continuing battle against the climate crisis?
Very, very important role, because we have already submitted our nationally determined contribution. On top of that, our commitment to the Paris Agreement. But of course, there are so many plans na pending na. Yung ating National Climate Change Action Plan ay dapat ma-revise na. And the People Survival Fund, yung batas na nag-amend sa Climate Change Act din, ay hindi pa na-maximize yung mga pondong yan. And we see that the 2022 elections, we hope that the platform of governance of the following candidates. We have Senator Bongo, we have President Duterte, we have Ping Lacson, and we have Tito Soto. We need to see how they will address the issue of the climate crisis. COP26 is coming, and right now, hindi pa natin alam. We still don't know the position of our government to be brought, no, not only the government, but the national interest to be brought sa United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change doon sa COP26 sa Scotland. We need to see. But May 2022 elections is a crucial role because we have a target of 2030, specifically for Sustainable Development Goals number 13, no, yung climate action, SDGs and 2030. And yeah, importante and dapat huwag kalimutan na ang climate crisis ay isa sa mga platform of governance ng mga kandidato.
You have mentioned like names already na nagsusurface na for the coming election. Will the personalities emerging as main candidates for the next election a hopeful bunch of politicians ready to take the plunge, ika nga, to make positive change in our policies and actions with regards to the climate crisis?
If we look at their platform of governance now, like the incumbent, malasakit na malasakit. But addressing the climate crisis, not only malasakit, it's also science. It's science and experience, the history of the experiences na ating yung mga naranasan natin, mga dilubyo noon, papaano yan natin masasagot at mabibigyang solusyon. Kung wala tayong kaakibat na karanasan, wala tayong kaakibat na karanasan sa pagpaplano, wala tayong kaakibat na karanasan sa paghahanda. At syempre yung siyensya, we need to listen to the science. Now, if I may, no, if I'll be called to talk to that candidate, for example, they are not yet candidates dahil hindi pa nakapag-file ng candidacy no, this October. But if I will be called to talk to Mr. Bongo, I would ask him, what do you know about climate change? Or what do you think are the projections in the next 10 years? At anong gagawin mo? If he will not be able to answer that, then it's hopeless to vote for him as president.
And would you believe, or do you believe na we have like personalities now emerging na who can do this, who knows something about climate change, climate justice, climate or maybe the crisis lang ang alam nila?
Well, emerging, yung nagbigay na ng interest, ano, well, President Duterte, yung Paris Agreement, yung accession nangyari sa kanyang panahon, but experience says that he would always refer to people who know the issue. Tito Soto, I have talked to him personally about the climate crisis, the accession to the Paris Agreement, among other things, but he would always refer to Senator Lauren Legarda. Ping Lacson is more on the disaster reduction and management, human security. He has some knowledge on the climate crisis and disaster reduction and management. But kung titingnan natin sa scale natin yung how would they act on the climate crisis, as of na wala pa akong nakikita talaga na seryosong i-embrace. But we need to talk to them. I mean, dialogue will always be the key, and we need to know their platform of governance. Meaning to say, if we will talk to them, it's them. Sila lang na walang nagsasabi sa kanila kung anong sasabihin nila.
Yes, because maybe parang we really need to know how deep is their knowledge then about not only maybe the knowledge but yung involvement nila on the issues, because kung puro pagtuturo yung gagawin, then maybe we won't be having more problems than solutions in the future. Having this landscape, yung atin bang mga boboto, yung electorate natin, will they be able to make the crucial decision to really elect the good ones?
I cannot say clearly and bluntly, but it will again depend on how people like you, like us, like the parishes, and like those who like-minded, on how we're able to influence or encourage people. It has been proven that surveys are not really enough. For many, many years, for previous elections, it is not enough. But with the issues coming out leading to elections, I hope that mamulat na yung totoong pagkamulat, ano, and we see sa social media, we see sa mga news, and even sa mga ordinaryong tao na tulad natin, ano, mga taxi drivers, mga naandyan sa yung mga tindera, yung ating mga magsasaka. Because when the issue and when the actions of the present administration hit us personally, our lives and livelihoods, matututo na tayo. But we'll learn our lesson na hindi pa rin natututo ang mga tao. Yung mga kandidato sa lokal, na andyan pa rin yung patronage politics. Yung utang na loob, in quotation mark, na ini-imbibe sa mga isip ng mga tao na may utang na loob ka doon sa politiko. Na sa katotohanan naman ay trabaho nila yan at binabayaran natin sila na trabahuin yung dapat nilang trabahuin. But the thing is, this is the biggest challenge in the rural areas or even in the provinces, that politicians imbibe in the hearts and in the minds of the people na meron silang utang na loob. But not only that, not only our communities, no, even our faith communities. Sadly speaking, that there's this institutional challenge that the utang na loob ay makapagpipigil sa ating mga even lay leaders and our faith leaders to speak against corruption, speak against social issues, among other things. But then again, it's always dialogue. And we know na kapag tumulong isang politiko sa simbahan, sa ating mga kapilya, sa ating mga chapels, or sa ating mga faith community, sa mga ministro, sa mga pastor, taos naman sa puso. But you know, the compromise, the institutional compromise na meron dyan, ay it remains there. And we need to challenge our lay leaders, our faith leaders, faith community leaders, to stand up if we see na mali yan at hindi naaayon sa katuruan ng ating simbahan, sa katuruan, sa social teachings of the church, sa katuruan ng faith tradition natin. We need to stand up and speak truth to power.
And a significant member of the CSOs in the country, ano yung nakikita ninyo parang just to help also the public in making that crucial decision? What are the priority issues that our government officials must be facing and must be taking actions before the May 2022 national elections?
Of course, as of now, classic example, nung isang araw o kahapon, what's the priority? Is it political survival or the survival of the Filipinos dahil mayroong COVID-19? That's classic example. It's prioritization. Pwede naman kayong mag-Zoom para mag-elect ng inyong nominee, no? Pwede naman kayong mag-text. But you know, may bagyo, may pandemya, pumunta kayo ng Pampanga. So that's the classic example na meron tayo. Now, priority. COVID-19 ay nandyan. But beyond COVID-19, nandyan ang climate crisis. But beyond the climate crisis, meron tayong mga problema sa ating biosphere. Nandyan yung habang may pandemya, tuloy-tuloy yung build. At yung descent ng mga tao dito sa mga build na ito, lalo sa mga infrastruktura na nakaapekto sa ating mga kagubatan, nakaapekto sa ating mga karagatan, sa ating mga coastal areas, limitado dahil mayroong ECQ, mayroong mga quarantine, hindi pwedeng hindi nakikita yung mga proyekto ngayon. That's one of the biggest challenges of COVID-19. It's not only health issue, it's also social issue, and it's also a corruption issue. Kasi hindi natin nakikita yung mga nangyayari. So, meaning to say, on the way to the 2022 election, we need to expose all these activities na nangyayari. kung nakikita natin yung mga activities na yan sa social media, pwede nating i-share sa ating media, pwede nating i-share sa ating mga kababayan, and we need to stand up and speak out. Dahil itong mga bagay na ito, hindi malalaman at paulit-ulit na mangyayari kung hindi natin sasabihin at hindi natin i-expose. So, COVID-19, climate crisis, pagpuputol ng mga puno, pagtatambak ng mga buhangin sa ating mga karagatan, pagsisemento ng ating mga coastal areas kasi nagsasagay siya ng coastal baywalk at marami pang iba. Ating mga fisher folks, wala nang madadaungan ng kanilang mga bangka. So these are the challenges that we need to look at, and we need our communities to expose all these projects, infrastructures na nakaapekto hindi lamang sa kalikasan, ngunit sa kabuhayan ng tao.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that we have time to expose all this?
I hope we still have time. And this is a challenge also sa ating mga faith communities. Dahil naandyan tayo sa mga communities, naandyan tayo sa grassroots, and we need to stand up because the call for good governance is also our call for moral responsibility. And our faith would always tell us that we are morally responsible, to tap the back of our faithful, to remind them that this is what Jesus told us. And at the end, what would Jesus do kung tayo lamang ay nakazip yung ating mga bibig? Pero yun nga, tinuruan tayo ni Jesus na mag-stand up, makipag-usap, or mag-resist. What kind of resistance? Maraming klaseng resistance. Jesus showed us the way.
Mm-hmm. And again, of our road to the 2022 national elections, meron bang ilalabas na some kind of a scorecard ang Living Laudato Si Philippines in terms of how, for example, our government now and then our public officials who would be running for the office are faring in terms of caring for our common home?
Yeah, being a member of the civil society community here in the country, we have this bigger convergence, and that's the Green Thumb Coalition. So Green Thumb Coalition, we've been putting on the table scorecards for candidates, and that's one of the very objectives of the Green Thumb Coalition. Thanks for the late Gina Lopez for supporting that initiative. So hopefully we'll be able to come up with something within the year or within the next year, first quarter. Who are the candidates who are really taking care of the environment genuinely, not only for show?
Mm-hmm. Okay, and last question, what are the brightest sides naman nung atin pong mangyayaring eleksyon in terms of yung mga ecological advocacies and vis-a-vis the government actions? Kumusta ba ito para sa inyo? Are there bright sides? Meron bang gains?
Well, the best, I think the brightest side would be there's an election. There's an election. That's the brighter side. The brighter side as well is that many young people are really standing up and double time. And we hope that those who are not yet registered to vote, you still have how many days? This September to go out to COMELEC and register so that you will be able to have your vote next year. So I think that's the bright side. We still have time. We still have the young people, and of course we still have the elders who who saw what happened. But again, the bright side is there's an election. We know what they did for the last 6 years, and we know people who are standing up, who are really not selling our country to other countries and not really selling our countries to corporations. So I think that's the brighter side. You still have time to register, and we have an election. But if people would, in power would decide not to have an election, I think that's the darkest side. But we have hope.
Mhm. Last question, Kuya. Sorry, may pahabol na tanong from one of our viewers. Ang tinatanong nila is that would there be like any chance for the civil society organizations, especially like for example for Green Thumb Coalition and then for Living Laudato Si Philippines, to really name names this coming elections? Will you be endorsing candidates? Will you be saying that you are disappointed in this candidates?
Well, for the disappointment side, actually, we did that before. For example, with Mike Defensor, who was really one of the for logging and for mining, and we stood up really for him not to be voted for senator, no? And there may be for the negative side, perhaps we'll be able to name names because it's obvious. But for the brighter side, we'll just set standards or criteria that these people are really advocates for the environment, that these people are really genuine. We may not be able to name names, but I think the standards and criteria for green candidates would be, well, some would actually, some organizations would actually endorse, like local organizations or national organizations. But as a movement, of course, we have a variety of perspectives. But we encourage people and even organizations to endorse good candidates, genuine candidates for the environment.
Thank you very much, Kuya Rodney, for being with us this morning and for everything that you've shared with us, especially for our viewers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Isang mapagpalang araw.
That's Kuya Rodney Galicia from the Living Laudato Si Philippines. We'll take a short break again before we continue with our program.
Because we know how much you wanted to get the right information, we give it to you right here. NASA Caritas Philippines News Updates. Accessible through your YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. NASA Caritas Philippines News Updates. Caritas News on the go.
I wear a mask because
I wear a mask because
I wear a mask to protect my special child. I wear a mask because I want to protect myself, my co-workers, and my clients. Nagsusulot ako ng mask para suportahan ang sarong COVID-free na komunidad.
I wear a mask because my child still can.
magsuot kog mask aron dili ko matakdan o dili pug ko makatakod sa uban.
Nagsuot ako ng mask para iwas sa virus.
I wear a mask because I want to be part of the solution and I care.
I wear a mask because I want to protect myself, my family, and others. And loving is caring.
Nagsulot ako ng mask kay gusto ko na mahunong ang pandemic.
I wear a mask because palangga ko kamo. Matay hao chao yung may kamyang hay kong yi. I wear a mask because it's an act of justice. Nagsuot ko og mask tungod kay mask, mag-alay sa kapwa. Mask, mag-atiman sa katawhan.
Nagsuksok ako sang mask para malikawan ang paglabtas ng COVID virus.
I wear a mask because I want to live longer and serve more people.
I wear a mask because I care and it works.
I wear a mask because bilang proteksyon sa mga mahal ko sa buhay.
Nagausar ako sang mask hindi lang para sa kaugalingon ko kundi para sa iban.
I wear a mask because prevention is better than cure.
I wear a mask because it's a mask.
Isang paalala mula sa Caritas, Philippines.
Because we know how much you wanted to get the right information, we give it to you right here. NASA Caritas Philippines News Updates. Accessible through your YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. NASA Caritas Philippines News Updates. Caritas News on the go.
Good morning once again, and you're watching Caritas News on the Go. During the COVID pandemic, we have been exposed to the different medicine brands as we struggle, especially to provide our families with vitamin supplements in the hope of fighting off the virus. Pero bakit nga ba importante para sa atin na malaman or alamin kung ano ang brand ng mga gamot na ating iniinom? At gaano ba ka-epektibo kung generic brand ang ating gagamitin? Yan po ang ating aalamin ngayong araw kasama si Dr. Karen Fernandez, Medical Officer 4 at Head ng Program and Health Facility Development Cluster ng Department of Health, Metro Manila Center for Health Development. Good morning, Doc, and welcome to the program. Please unmute po yourself. Ayan. We are having an audio problem with Dr. Karen. We are not hearing you, Doc. Paano kaya ang nangyari? Napaka-importante naman pa din ng ating pag-uusapan ngayon because we really would like to know kung paano na, like for example, if the efficacy or efficiency, effectivity nung ating mga generic medicines ay comparative din doon sa efficacy ng ating mga branded medicines, di ba po? So we'd like to know all these things. So let's see if we have already Dr. Karen. Good morning again po. Okay. Baka kinakailangan natin ng tulong sa technicals with Dr. Karen. Hindi natin siya marinig from the Zoom.
Hello?
So, ayan. Hello? Okay na po. Perfect.
Alright. Okay.
Sige po. Good morning once again, Doc, and welcome to Caritas News on the Go. Okay po.
Good morning ulit sa inyong lahat.
Good morning ulit po. Okay, pag-usapan po natin yung mga generic medicines. Ano po? Kasi sabi natin madalas kung minsan, lalo na kapag pumupunta tayo sa mga clinic, lalong-lalo na, madalas na tinatanong tayo ng mga doktor, what do you want? Branded ba or generic medicines? Ano yung kaibahan nitong dalawa in terms of yung efficacy nga, efficiency ng gamot?
Okay. Unang-una sa lahat, i-define muna natin ano ba yung generic medicines, no? Ang generic medicines, ito yung mga gamot na ginaya yung active component at yung pagproseso ng pagmanufacture niya sa isang branded medicine na may magkaparehong medicinal effect. When you say the active component, ito yung nagbibigay ng medicinal effect sa isang gamot. Okay? Tapos, tinatanong din natin, gaya nung sinabi mo nga, ito ba ay magkasing bisa, no? Yung branded at saka yung generic. So, ano ba yung sagot dito? Oo. No? Kasi, lahat ng generic medicines, no, ay magkasing bisa din sa branded kasi pareho lang sila ng active ingredient na kinopya doon sa branded medicine. So, same yung medicinal effect nito sa ating katawan. Okay? Ang pinagkaiba lang nila actually is yung like mga inactive ingredients. Ano ba yung mga inactive ingredients? Gaya ng mga colorant nila, yung mga coating binders, no? Tapos, at lahat ng generic medicines natin is dumaan sa proseso na itinakda ng Food and Drug Administration or ng FDA para mapatunayan na magkasing bisa sila.
Does this mean, Doc, na wala ng mga inactive ingredients yung ating mga generic medicines or they are using other inactive ingredients?
Other inactive ingredients. Doon sila nagkakaroon ng difference. Kaya, di ba, minsan magkaiba yung kulay, magkaiba yung itsura. Yun lang yung pinagkaiba nila. Tapos, masasabi din na pareho sila ng pareho yung bisa ng active at generic medicine if same yung effectivity nila. Same medicinal effect. If it is parehong safe, kumbaga wala siyang naidudulot na harm. And of course, same yung kanilang quality. That's why the generic medicines undergo process of series of tests under FDA. Tapos, same din yung kanilang active component na yun yung nagbibigay ng medicinal effects. Same din yung dose strength. When you say dose strength, ito yung amount ng active ingredient. Okay? And then same dosage form. Like for example, is it a tablet or an injectable? No? Ito yung physical form. And then same yung route ng administration. Pag sinabi mong route ng administration, paano ba to tinitake ng body? Pwedeng oral, topical, yung mga pinupahid, pwedeng ini-inject, no? Like diretso sa muscle, or pwede sa veins. Okay. So yun, these are the things na para masabi mong magkapareho sila ng bisa.
Okay. Pero bakit po ba mas mahal yung mga branded medicines or because they are branded kaya mahal sila over the generic ones?
Okay. Bakit nagiging mas mahal yung branded medicine, no? Kasi yung mga branded medicines natin, nauna silang gawin. So it undergoes, kumbaga may mahabang proseso tulad ng mga animal and human clinical testing. Kumbaga may mga researches na ginawa para madiskubre itong mga gamot na ito. So mas mahal yung nagagastos ng mga kumpanya o ng mga clinical laboratories, no, na nag-imbento or gumawa nitong mga gamot na to. Habang ang mga generic medicines, since kinopya na lang natin yung kanilang active ingredients, hindi na sila kailangang mag-undergo with different clinical testing. Ang kailangan lang nila is kumpletuhin yung mga ibang test na ibinigay ng FDA, no, para makapasa yung mga gamot nila. Kaya karamihan dun sa mga branded medicines is mas mahal siya kesa dun sa generic. Isa pa, yung mga branded medicines natin is meron silang mga commercials, may mga marketing ads. So, additional cost ito for that medicine.
Oh, okay. So, hindi naman ibig sabihin na mas mahal, mas effective. Parang parehod lang yan ng mga bags natin, mga damit natin. Hindi ibig sabihin mas mahal, mas mahaba ang buhay. Ika nga, ano po. Pero, mas mabagal daw po ba yung epekto ng branded medicines or ng generic medicines kesa sa mga branded medicines natin?
Actually, gaya nung sinasabi ko, lahat ng mga generic medicines naman is dumaan sa testing ng FDA. Okay? Bago to ilabas sa merkado o bago ibenta dun sa mga butika para malaman kung bioequivalent ba siya with the branded medicine. Okay? So, para masabi mong bioequivalent siya, yung generic at yung branded, dapat pareho sila ng active component. Okay? Tapos, pareho ang dami ng active component na makukuha ng katawan sa kaparehong oras. Kaya hindi mo masasabing mas mabagal yung effect nung generic medicine compare to a branded medicine. Pero dapat, syempre, pinapayuhan natin, kaya dapat yung mga consumers maging mapanuri kayo, no? Especially pagbili sa butika, kailangan sigurado kayo na la butika ay merong silang license to operate, 'di ba? Na nagbebenta sila ng mga kalidad na gamot.
Okay. Meron na din pong mga generic medicines ngayon which are being advertised. Ano po? Kung sinasabi po natin na parang kinopya lang yung branded medicine ng mga generic ones, hindi pa kaya parang panggagaya or counterfeit products yung ating mga generic medicines, or is it only like yung proseso lang, sabi mo nga kanina po, yung active ingredients lang yung kinuha natin dito from the branded medicines?
Okay, hindi mo naman siya masasabing counterfeit or peke, no? Pag sinabi mo kasing peke siya, yung branded medicine mo, exactly ginaya mo yung itsura, ginaya mo yung pangalan, okay? Pero the quality, no, is substandard or minsan walang effect. Ito yung peke. Okay? Ang ginagawa natin sa generic medicine, ang kinopya mo lang is yung yung active component niya at saka yung proseso ng pag-manufacture ng gamot na dumaan nga sa FDA standards para masabi natin na magkasing bisa sila nung branded medicine. Maaaring magkaiba yung itsura or iba na yung brand name niya pero same yung generic niya, 'di ba? Pero yung counterfeiting nga, ginaya mo yung parehong-pareho pero it's a substandard quality. Kaya sabi ko nga, pinapayuhan ang publiko na dapat maging mapanuri tayo dun sa mga bibili nating gamot at kung saan natin sila bibili.
Okay. Doc, another thing, kasi 'di ba, like for example in the US, I think there was a case na ang sinasabi nila is parang para mas madali yung process ng pag-approve ng mga brand or ng mga generic medicines natin. Kasi ang nangyari, sabi mo nga po kanina din, parang nag-undergo ng mas madaming clinical trials yung mga branded medicines natin over the generic ones. Does this mean then, or will this affect at some point the effectivity of the medicine that we are taking, especially yung mga generic, kung mas konti na lang yung mga clinical trials na ginawa sa kanila?
Actually, hindi siya makaka-affect na. Dahil kasi nga yung branded, di ba, may nag-undergo na siya with these clinical trials. So, kinuha mo, ang kinopya mo lang sa kanya is yung pinaka-active component niya. The active component is already tested, 'di ba? So ang gagawin mo na lang, ito yung gagayahin mo para tsaka paano pinroseso yung pag-manufacture ng gamot na yon. So ibig sabihin, alam mo na talagang effective siya. So that's why there's no other clinical test na kailangan mag-undergo pa. I-undergo na lang niya is kailangan i-test na lang ng FDA kung talaga bang same yung kanilang effectivity.
Okay. Another thing, Doc, kasi 'di ba nung lumabas yung mga China-made products, 'di ba? Tapos madami yung mga salmonella or yung mga sinasabi natin na mga medyo low quality products. Meron tayong mga gamot na generic na galing din doon po. So does this mean na medyo how do we make sure, especially sa DOH, sa FDA, na everything that would be coming in the Philippines, especially mga gamot, would not have the same parang kaguluhan na ibinigay sa atin nitong mga sinasabi nating gamot na hindi talaga effective or nakakasama pa sa atin?
Okay, gaya nga ng sinabi ko, ang isang gamot, bago siya ilabas sa merkado, dumadaan siya lahat sa FDA for testing. So, hindi natin ilalabas ang isang gamot pag nakita natin may problema siya or magkukos siya ng harm sa ating katawan. Okay? Even kami sa DOH, yung mga pinoprocure namin ng mga gamot na ibinibigay natin sa ating mga local government units para sa distribution sa mga health centers natin, lahat yon bago namin yon ilabas or bago mabayaran, bago maaprubahan, nagdadala kami ng samples sa FDA para i-test yung tong mga gamot na ito. To make sure para safe yung mga tao na iinom or magti-take nitong mga gamot na to.
Okay. Another question, Doc, coming from our viewers. Kung ganun daw yung process na ginagawa po ng DOH at saka ng FDA, bakit nangyari yung Dengvaxia and branded yung vaccine?
Okay. For Dengvaxia, no, actually, iba naman kasi yung naging problema doon sa Dengvaxia. Parang nagkaroon ng maling pagbibigay ng impormasyon coming from the manufacturer itself. Kumbaga, hindi agad nila nakita yung ganong klase ng problema. So that is why, tsaka isa pa, I mean, let's admit it, first time kasi yung Dengvaxia noon. So hindi naman within the FDA or doon sa DOH yung naging problema. Nagkaroon ng kulang na information coming from the manufacturer.
Okay. So, going back, lahat po ba ng branded medicines ay may generic counterpart? Hindi ba mahihirapan yung mga kababayan natin na maghanap ng generic counterpart?
Okay. Hindi lahat ng branded medicines is may generic counterpart. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na patent doon sa isang branded medicine. So, ano ba tong patent na to, no? Kailangan munang matapos o ma-expire yung patency ng isang branded medicine or ng isang produkto bago ito magawa ng generic counterpart. Minsan yung patent na to, tumatagal siya for 20 years, no? Para mabigyan ng pagkakataon na kumita ang isang branded product bago magkaroon ng generic. Kasi nga, mas malaki yung gastos nila para mabuo yung gamot na yon. Kumbaga, para makabawi sila.
Okay. And ang Pilipinas, Doc, ay talagang pinayagan na natin na mag-proliferate sa merkado natin yung ating mga generic medicines. And even, for example, hindi lamang sa public hospitals natin ginagawa ito or in-encourage, but even sa mga private hospitals, inaano natin po na as much as possible, kung po pwede din lang naman, generic medicines yung ating ireseta, di ba po? So, bakit meron tayo ng ganoon? May batas ba na nagsasabi na we can provide generic medicines to our patients?
Yes, okay. Since 1988, nung inilabas yung Generics Act or yung RA 6675, no, na layunin ng generic medicines na magkaroon ng abot-kayang gamot para sa lahat. Alam naman natin na napakahirap ng buhay, no? Lahat tayo nag-i-struggle. So, ano yung mga gusto natin? Bakit nilabas itong Generics Act na to? Unang-una, para maatasan yung mga doktor na magreseta ng generic medicines bilang opsyon, para mabigyan ng opsyon ang mga pasyente sa pagbili ng gamot. Okay? Pangalawa, para mas tumaas ang awareness ng publiko sa bisa ng generic medicine, no? Kasi nagkakaroon tayo ng misconception about generic medicines. Iniisip natin pag generic, gaw-gaw, alam mo yun, walang effect, diba? Gusto natin ipaalam sa publiko na same lang yung kanilang effectivity. Okay? Then, para syempre magkaroon ng mura at mabisang gamot para sa lahat. Of course, especially ngayon, no, we're gearing towards universal healthcare. 'Di ba? Kailangan lahat, no? Hindi natin pwedeng ipagkait ang isang magandang healthcare service sa isang Pilipino. Dapat pantay-pantay, no? Tsaka isa pa, gusto natin yung paggamit ng mga generic terminology sa paggawa ng reseta. So that is why pag gumagawa ng reseta si doktor, lalagay muna niya yung generic medicine, yung mga naka-enclose sa parenthesis dun sa ilalim, iyon yung brand name. Okay? Pero syempre, may option yung mga pasyente o yung mga consumer kung gusto ba nilang bilhin yung brand na inirekomenda ni Doc o pwedeng magtanong tayo ng ibang brand na mas mababa ang presyo or yung mga generic medicines.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Doc. Last question, kasi di ba we wanted to also make sure na itong programa natin on the generics medicine would really help other programs of the government. Di ba po? Kasi sabi mo nga kanina, we wanted na yung ating, kumbaga, we are gearing towards the universal healthcare. Meron ba tayo or ano-ano yung mga programa pa ng DOH na naglalayon po na mabigyan ng mga libreng gamot ang publiko? And are these medicines also like available doon sa ating mga health centers, doon sa mga rural health units natin?
Okay. So, unang-una muna sa lahat, I'll take this opportunity para din malaman ng ating mga kababayan yung mga ibang programa ng DOH na kung saan nakakapagbigay po tayo ng mga libreng gamot, no? Or ito ay ma-avail natin sa mga health centers o sa mga pampublikong ospital. Okay? So, ano-ano ba yung mga programa ng DOH na meron tayong ibinibigay na mga libreng gamot sa publiko? Okay? So, available nga to sa health center, sa hospital, at saka sa mga ibang mga access sites po natin. So, unang-una sa lahat, family planning. Ano sa family planning? Yung mga contraceptives natin. Meron po tayong mga oral contraceptives, no? So, yung mga tinatawag nating progestin-only pills, yung mga depot medroxyprogesterone acetate, no? So, meron tayo niyan. Magtanong lang kayo dun sa inyong mga health center sa inyong barangay. Ano pa? National Immunization Program. When we say national immunization, ito yung mga bakuna ng ating mga baby at saka ng ating mga senior citizen. Ano yung mga libre na yan? O meron tayong BCG, yung HEPA, sa HEPA B. Tapos meron na din tayo ng mga pentavalent vaccine. I mean, Itong mga to, sa oral polio, okay, meron tayong measles MMR, measles, mumps, rubella. Meron din tayong yung sa tetanus, diphtheria, DPT, no? Meron tayong HPV, influenza, tsaka pneumonia. Okay? Pag itong mga to, pina-inject mo on a private, mahal ang presyuhan natin dito. So pinapaalalahanan ko po kayong lahat na meron pong libre sa mga health center. Huwag po kayong mag-atubiling pumunta sa mga health center ninyo. Kasi even ako, I have 2 kids. Lahat ng bakuna nila, kinumpleto ko po sa health center. Di ba? Malaking katipiran to. O, ano pa yung mga gamot? Meron din tayo sa TB. Okay? So, National Tuberculosis Program. So, pag halimbawa, pag ganito po, ine-enroll lang naman po sa health center, then monthly, bibigyan po kayo ng gamot para makumpleto nyo po ang inyong gamutan na 6 na buwan o minsan mas tumatagal pa sa 6 na buwan. All these medicines is provided sa inyong mga LGU sa health center. Ano pa? Meron din po sa HIV at saka dun sa mga sa STI prevention program, so mga sexually transmitted infections, no? Meron din po tayo niyan sa ating health center. Actually, sa mga access sites, no? So, these access sites, meron sa center, meron sa municipal or city health office ninyo, or meron din po sa mga hospital. Magtanong lang po kayo dun sa inyong mga health offices sa kada city or municipality po ninyo. O, meron din po tayong micronutrient supplementation program. So, ito naman yung mga vitamin A, merong ferrous with folic acid, may calcium carbonate, no? Tapos, yung mga micronutrient powder para sa ating mga babies. So, these are all available. Kaya, kumbaga, kung gusto nyong makatipid, di ba? Meron naman libre. Magtanong lang po tayo. Then, Rabies Prevention and Control Program. So, dun sa mga nakagat ng aso or nakagat ng pusa or kung ano man na nakakagat sa inyo, available din po yan. Tanong nyo lang kung saan yung Animal Bite Center ng inyong LGU para doon po kayo i-refer, mabigyan kayo ng bakuna for anti-rabies. Okay? Available din yan sa mga hospital, sa mga government hospitals natin like sa San Lazaro, no? And then, we have the Medicine Access Program. So, ito sa Medicine Access Program, maraming naka-under pa sa kanya. Like the maintenance medicines. Ano ba to? Yung ating mga amlodipine, losartan, okay? Metformin for the diabetes, yung simvastatin. Meron po yung mga libre sa health center. Then, we also had the insulin medicine. Meron ding mga specific health center. Although hindi lahat kasi ng health center is merong trained na mga healthcare workers, no? Kaya tanungin nyo lang po dun sa inyong city health office or municipal health office saan kayo makakakuha ng mga insulin, kung saang center meron. So, ano pa? Cancer. Meron din po tayo, special dun sa breast cancer. Napakamahal ng mga gamot para sa breast cancer. Pero gusto kong ipaalam po sa inyo, available po yan, no? Meron po tayong mga access site na kung saan makakakuha po kayo ng mga pang-chemotherapy po ninyo. Malaking tulong po yan. And then lastly, we also had the mental health medicine. So sa mental health, ito yung sa mga anti-depression, gano'n. Okay? May mga gamot din po. So ipakita nyo lang yung gamot, yung reseta, coming from your doctor. Dalhin po ito doon sa inyong health center, sasabihin po nila kung saan merong available. Or if instantly may available sa kanila, bibigyan po naman nila kayo. It's just meron lang mga ibang programa, ine-enroll po kayo, nililista kayo, gano'n, para lang po ma-monitor natin na talagang tatapusin nyo yung gamutan, no, na kumbaga na i-schedule, makumpleto yung inyong gamutan.
Okay. Maraming salamat po, Dr. Karen, sa pagkakataon po na ibinigay ninyo dito sa ating programa. Thank you very much.
Thank you din. Welcome din po.
Thank you very much. Nakasama po natin si Dr. Karen Fernandez ng Metro Manila Center for Health Development ng Department of Health. We are still in the season of creation and online activities are ongoing. We are inviting you to take part in these activities via the Facebook page of the CBCP National Laudato Si program. Next week, we shall be having the Commission on Audit and here in our program, so you know what to do. Make it a habit to watch Caritas News on the Go every Friday from 9 o'clock in the morning. And also, the same day, at 8 o'clock in the evening is Alay Kapwa sa Caritas Philippines, and that is tonight. I am Jean Ray Henderson. Thank you for watching. This is Caritas News on the Go.
Because we know how much you wanted to get the right information, we give it to you right here. NASA Caritas Philippines News Updates. Accessible through your YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. NASA Caritas Philippines News Updates. Caritas News on the go. Because we know